Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of zeros of quadratic functions. This is standard A.7B in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 34 off the 2024 released STAAR test. This is a new item type called drag and drop. And if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we have a quadratic function, and we get this strange notation here. It's usually not something that we see, but let's talk about this, because sometimes when we're looking at quadratic functions, right, we'll see x and we'll see y. Sometimes we'll see y in function notation, so it might be like f of x. And so what that means is you take your x value and you kind of stick it in there, and that gets you your dependent variable, which sometimes we call y, but sometimes we call f of x. Well, in this case, they just named the function h. So it's function h, and we see h there, we see h there, and we see the h of x right there. So let's view our y value as our h of x, or our uh, dependent variable. So we've got two different values. So it says that instead of h of x, right, we've got this h of, let's start with that first one, negative 3/2, right? If we can think of that. And if we put that into this table here, and I'm going to create a new table, right? Let's do this to where we've got our x, and we've got our h of x. Well, we notice that this negative 3/2 is in that x position, right? So when you do h of something, it's always h of x. So that means that we've got a negative 3/2 as our x, and when that turns into it, and when we put the negative 3/2 into the h of x, it gets us a value of 0. All right? We could say the same thing from here. H of 5, so 5 would be our x, our independent variable, gets us a 0. All right? So I'm not sure if this opens up or opens down, but let's assume it opens up. Basically, what they're saying, if that's 5, that's negative 3/2, right? Don't know where it crosses, don't know what the minimum is, but it's got two zeros or two solutions right there. So what we can say is that we've got these two solutions. Now we can turn these into factored form. So let's take this first one, right? So if we know that x equals this negative 3/2, we know that when x equals negative 3/2, y equals 0, right? So what I want to do is I want to set this equal to 0. So what I want to do is I want to get this negative 3/2, so let's add 3/2 to both sides. So now I've got x plus 3/2 equals 0. And let's not have that as a fraction, right? Let's multiply everything by 2. So we're going to get 2x plus, right, that's going to cancel out 3 equals still 2 times 0 is 0. Okay, so that's going to get me one factor, this 2x plus 3. Now I could do the same thing over here with the 5. If x equals 5, right, let's get the x and the 5 on the same side. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. We can set that equal to 0 because we know that is one of our solutions. So we can say x minus 5. And it really doesn't matter which order you put them in, but I'll go ahead and put them in like this. The answer key actually has correct answers in either place. So you can flip the x minus 5 or the 2x plus 3. Now we've got it in factored form. We could FOIL it out if we wanted to, and we would still find that the two zeros are going to be your negative 3/2 and your 5. So let's get our 2x plus 3. Let's get our x minus 5. Make sure that matches up with what we have. There we go. And that is our answer for 2 points.